especially if you keep talking. We're live now, so welcome everyone. This is Dr. Scott from Sixth Sense Acupuncture and the Healthy Habits Club, and this is the Get Busy Living podcast. We've got a special guest today. We've got the wonderful Karen Clark, and thank you so much, Karen, for coming on and give us some gold nugget information today. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure to be back, actually, Dr. Scott, because I know we did one about, 6 months ago? And
no, I think it's pushing more like 12.
You're kidding me.
No, yeah, I've been doing this for a while now.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, this is like...
Yeah, and you said, we should do it again. And so when you reached out, I was like, oh, well, Scott wanted to do it again. Okay. But, I can't believe it's that long ago.
I told you, I only bring the special ones on. I was going to say, thank you so much for your time today. Sorry for mucking you around this morning, and appreciate you coming on this afternoon and helping everyone in the community as well. So thank you so much.
That's okay. I don't think you mucked me around this morning.
All right, cool.
I don't know. So, did you send me some messages that I missed or something saying, can you come on at 8 o'clock?
Yeah. Let's make it 6. Why not? So it's been a while. So obviously a lot has changed for everyone, I suppose.
Yeah.
And especially for yourself. And tell us, Karen, what gets you out of bed every morning?
Well, it's still the same, really. What gets me out of bed is because I love my life, for a start. I'm posting all the time with these. I live in paradise. So, I pretty much wake up before the alarm goes off. And then I'm like, well, it's time to get up and go out into paradise and enjoy it because, I live in the Gold Coast. We have the most beautiful weather. I come from New Zealand, and so for me, this is paradise just about every day. Like, it is hot at the moment, but throughout the entire year in the Gold Coast, it's a subtropical to tropical climate, and it blows me away how good the weather is every day. The sun shines, the beautiful sea rolls, and, we just have amazing weather, and that makes you feel good, makes you feel great. So I start with usually, apart from personal things getting on with the day, I usually go out to the beach and sometimes have a chai, sometimes have a coffee, and go and walk in it. I don't usually swim at that because I'm not a great swimmer, and the waves are too big for me. I'm afraid of those big waves in the Gold Coast. Because I'm not a great swimmer. I never have been. And that was one of the things the father of my children, my former husband, was a competitive swimmer, a really good swimmer. And so one of the things we made sure we did was to give our children swimming lessons and give them that gift of learning how to swim, because once you learn, you never forget. And one of my kids much later in life started to teach me to swim, and I did okay. I could, I wasn't scared of swimming in New Zealand because we don't have those big waves in most places. But I learned to swim, but not to breathe, not to do the whole swim breathe thing. And so my daughter actually did quite a good job teaching me how to do the breathing as well. But on the whole, I'm not into those big waves. However, what I do, which is leads to one of the other questions you're going to ask me today, I think, is I walk in the edge of the water with, my legs and my feet in the wet sand and in the water, the salt water, because I believe in grounding. I believe in earthing or grounding, which is, I believe, a health benefit to detox the frequency in our bodies. So, that's one of the things I look forward to most days. And then my day is filled with many different things. And I'm one of those people who loves variety. So I thrive on doing different things for different people. What really gets me up, to answer it, that was a long answer, is serving. So I love serving others. That's what I do. I serve. And anything I do, I love serving. Being of service.
Yeah, especially the community,
Yeah.
Communities
Yeah.
Very important. So we appreciate that. Thank you so much, Karen, for doing that. And so tell us about your business. So it's is it the quantum?
Yeah, I am. I yeah, I'm also known as the Quantum Queen. So I'm a business coach. My business is called Clark Asians and Co, and there's a story behind that, but we won't go into that right now. We've run out of time. And I coach people in a different way to most business coaches, as you said, quantum. So my training that I offer people is really to understand how mindset works, how our thoughts actually create our results. How come we all have different lives and we all have different levels of achievement and success, and it's all to do with our thoughts and how we and learning. I just put a post up this morning saying, do you love your life? You can create it by design, because if you don't create your life by designing what you would love, you will live it by default from the thoughts that are in your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind that you're not even aware of. And that's how we operate as humans. That's the human being part of us that is always thinking, always thinking. We think 70,000 thoughts, up to 70,000 thoughts every day. And Dr. Joe Dispenza will tell you that, and all the experts in mindset will tell you that, who work with this quantum area. We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and most of them we're totally unaware of. Totally unaware of. And yet they are controlling our results in life.
Yeah. My mentor, he says we have about 1 or 2 great thoughts every year.
Yeah.
The rest is just garbage.
But the thing is, what you don't realize is that you can change that, because you can control your thoughts. You can actually go, no, that's bullshit. Excuse my French. Am I allowed to say that?
yeah, that's okay.
That's BS. I'm doing
this.
and
All the kids are at school.
I'm doing this, and this is what I'm, aiming for, and this is what I'm going to do. And you can actually replace it. I am capable. I am good. I am worthy. And a lot of other coaches teach all that kind of stuff. However, what I teach is really in depth. It's not rocket science. It's not difficult science, quantum physics. It's actually common sense. But it is quantum physics, and the magic is in the metaphysical world and in the quantum world. So it's like magic. It really is.
Yeah, I agree with you. Perception is very important. And yeah, you're right. If you the problem is it's a dominoes effect, yeah. So it's, and you're trying to, what you're trying to do is teach people to use that dominoes effect in a positive way.
Yeah, so that you can use it. Yeah, that it all starts with this.
Yeah.
And you got to know what it is you're going for in clarity, and because we think in pictures. Everything happens in our minds in pictures, apart from one small group of people, and I can't remember what the disease is or what the dysfunction is, but there are apparently a group of people who do not see pictures in their head.
Yeah, that's probably the sociopaths or the
No, they're not bad people.
Psychopaths.
No, they're not bad people. They're just for some reason they have a disconnect with that function that we all have, which is, if I say to you, don't think about your car, what happens?
Yeah. Think of the car.
You see the car, right? You see it, don't you?
Yeah.
If I say don't imagine what the Sydney Harbour Bridge looks like, what happens? You see the Sydney Harbour Bridge in your head. And that's what we do with everything, is that we think about everything in pictures. And if we create that clear, specific, detailed, beautiful picture of what we want in our life, that's the starting point. That's where we start to generate the energetic frequency that will help us to get there, because everything's frequency.
Yeah, that's right. I totally agree. So when did you start your business?
Coaching.
Yeah, coaching or to be franchise. I'm only kidding.
No, I would never be in a franchise, Scott.
No, start your own.
I'm not franchise material. I learned that. So I started my coaching in 2015. Prior to that, I was in normal traditional business. And it was about 2000, late 1998, 95 to 98, early 2000, that I guess I started to learn that life was a bit different to the way that the status quo that most of us are taught. I started to educate myself. I went to some presentations, international speakers who presented on many things that we won't mention. However, they were challenging the status quo of all the beliefs that we've been fed. And they were saying, well, it's not true. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. This is not law, even though we're told it is. And it started like that. And then I went to a presentation by this guy, and actually he is an Australian, Bradley J. Sugars, Brad Sugars, and he came to New Zealand. And he came to New Zealand. He did become an action coach.
That's his franchise.
That's right, it was. But before that, I don't think when I went to his presentation, he wasn't even doing the Action International, whatever it was called. And this is one of his books, Billionaires in Training. And he did another one called The Business Chassis, which was really good. And so that started me on a different path of education. I had a traditional business in the automotive industry, and this is when I started to get really interested in all this stuff. And in the early 2000s, I joined Roger James Hamilton, and he had a group called XL Nation. I joined that as a life member, and that then turned into the Entrepreneurs Institute, and there are thousands and thousands of members all around the world. And he was probably it was Brad Sugars and Roger Hamilton who were mentors of mine, who started to make me think. They introduced the mindset stuff, a lot of the mindset stuff, in with business, in with investments, in with normal everyday things came the mindset stuff, and it fascinated me. So in 2014, I think Roger referred my master coach, where I did my training as a coach, Mary Morrissey of Life Mastery Institute, referred her to me just on a video, one of those referral video things, and I started a program called Dream Builder program, and then I went to America. And that was where I was offered to become a coach. And that was the start of my coaching career, because prior to that, since I'd belonged, and that was in 2015, so that was like 15 years after I first met Roger Hamilton. And when I met him, I got this big desire and dream to bring that kind of education that we don't learn. We don't learn about mindset much. And we certainly didn't before, the 2000s. Now they're teaching kids a little bit of it at school, but nothing like what we coach. So I got this dream. I had this dream that I was going to bring this kind of education to people one day, somehow, with some kind of education facility. And I didn't know how that was going to happen. And then in 2015, I went to America with, as I say, Mary Morrissey and Life Mastery Institute. They offered me to be a coach trained by them. I'm an independent. It's not a franchise, as you say, and it's not, anything else like that. I'm an independent person. I can coach whatever I want, but I am highly trained in their system of life mastery, which includes a lot of quantum physics. So there aren't many business coaches or even any kind of coaches around that do learn about the quantum physics aspect of it, and the energy and the frequency.
Yeah, you hear, yeah, there's not many, that you are right, that you don't hear it very often. And yeah, so Roger Hamilton, he's written a few books too, hasn't
Yeah, I've got this one here, The
he? Yeah, he's
Millionaire
written a
Master
few.
Plan. He's written quite a few. I've got all of his books, I think.
Okay,
Your personalized. So it's all about financial success, because that's my area of expertise is business and financial success. However, my coaching covers every area that we create results in. So I could be a health coach with my training. I could be a relationships coach. I could be a business coach as I am, or, any other kind of coach, because we cover the whole lot in, how we're trained and what we do and the programs that people can take.
And what's the, to sum up, what did you get out of Brad Sugars? What was the most important that you got out of him? Because he's got a lot of content. I'm following on his podcast, and on YouTube.
It was probably his. Sorry to cut you.
You're right. You go.
It was probably the start. Was that book, The Business Chassis, and that was talking about, and now a lot of people talk about it as like your foundation. Like the chassis of the car is like the foundation part, and you can't have the rest of it unless you've got a good, strong chassis. And so, and the other thing I really loved that he did was the accountability thing. I don't know if you've seen it, but he had a letter for each word, and it was like, we play above the line. And above the line was accountable and responsible, taking responsibility, being accountable, and I forget the other things. And below the line was like blaming other people, excuses, all of that. And that was really made good sense to me too. Is that now I only work with people who play integrity, play above the line. And I actually called someone out on the integrity just recently, and I said, hey, the deal was this is what we agreed on, and now you're changing it because of something for you that didn't happen, and that's out of integrity as far as I'm concerned. So I just want you to know that integrity is one of my highest values, and someone else is not going to play the game with integrity. That's the other thing I love, is to realize that we're just in a big game. If you look at our life as a big game, and that was one of the things that Brad said, as well as Roger Hamilton, as well as several mentors, is that you can either sit on the sideline and watch and complain and not get involved, or you got to actually get on the field, on the playing field, to play the game. And it's a game of life. It's not about what we got taught in the beginning years ago, was that, you go to school, then you go to university, you get a degree, then you go get a good job, and you work a good job all your life, and then when you've done all of that, you'll save all your money, you'll get a house, you'll probably have kids and all of that, and then you'll save all your money, and then when you retire, that'll be the golden years. And you'll be able to do what you want. You'll be able to rest and travel and do all those things when you retire. And that's one thing that changed for me when I realized that it's not about this. It's this right now. Today is the golden years. Every day. Every day that I wake up and get out of bed is, one of my golden days. And a year's only made up of 365 days. So, that's what.
Yeah. I heard I listened to a presentation about 6 months ago or something, and it was an accountant of all people, and he pointed out. He said 18% of all people. He works with self-managed super funds. See, He said 18% of all the Australian population actually retire comfortably.
Yeah.
82% don't.
Yeah. And the thing is that retirement isn't the golden years, though. It's like part of the worst life, part of most people's lives. Like you say, 18% might, but even if they're comfortable, they might not be healthy. They might not have the energy to do what they would have done at, our age or younger. And so it's just like, no, this is it. This is the time to do what you want to do. This is the time to enjoy life and have joy and happiness and all of those things. It's now. It's not when we retire. Although I could retire now. I am actually of retirement age.
Yeah.
And in my way, I want to retire.
Yeah, well, that's right. We should never. Yeah, as long as the marbles are still rolling around in my head, I'm never going to retire.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. Because what else would you do?
Well, exactly. You go stir crazy, and I've seen a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
They say that they say they're going to retire, and they retire, and then 6 months later they're working again.
And if
or which I see a lot of, their health deteriorates to the point where they just can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is happening a lot now.
They've lost that motivation.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, is that if you don't have a purpose, so what gets me out of bed is my purpose, which is freedom for humanity. So everything I want to do, I want it to be answering that question, am I furthering freedom for humanity by helping someone have more freedom, by helping people to understand how to have more freedom, by having more financial returns to have more choice and freedom. That's my why. And if you stop having a why, why would you get up out of bed every morning? You don't have a why or a purpose. That's just, what do they call it? Groundhog Day. There's a lot of people who live Groundhog Day every day, aren't there?
Gonna break that. There was a side table clock.
Yeah.
Remember, he wakes up every morning, goes.
Yeah.
Same friggin' thing every morning. So he smashes the clock.
What about you, Scott? What gets you out of bed every morning?
What gets me out of bed? Well, just helping as many people as possible, especially with their health. And watching that progression change, that progression of where they were debilitated, couldn't do things for themselves or couldn't do things that they wanted to do. And then they progressively change. And when you see that happening, like in front of your eyes, you're just like, wow. What's the old saying? Don't believe anything you hear and believe 50% of what you see. Well, yeah, I believe at least 50% of what I see. And when you see that, it's just, that's so inspiring, because then you realize that they really want, like, they have that motivation there.
Yes.
They have that want to get better. They have that want to improve themselves.
Yeah, and you're so right. It's all about desire, whatever we desire. As long as you believe that you can have what you desire. That's a big thing, isn't it? They come along to you and say, can you fix me?
Yeah.
But I don't think you'll be able to.
Yeah, that's because they've been to everyone else first. So that's welcome to my world. That's my world.
Yeah.
They've been to everyone first.
Yeah.
Been to the chiro, been to the physio, been to the GP, been to the specialist, and now they're on my doorstep, and they're desperate. They're desperate, and they don't think that I can help because everyone else has told them I can't.
Or they've tried and failed, and they've spent lots of money on other people saying, "Yep, I can help you," and they don't feel it again. Yeah.
So that and when you see that progression, like I said, when you see the progression change there, you can see their face change. You can see their emotions change. They're more upbeat. They're more and enthusiastic about what their day's going to provide for them. That's pretty cool. That's
Very.
pretty cool.
So, of course, you realise that you've changed their energetic frequency.
Yeah.
What you're operating at.
Yeah.
If they look more upbeat and they feel
Yeah.
more motivated and what have you, they've actually changed the frequency that they're operating from.
Well, I talk about blood and blood flow, and that if we are basically a series of pipes, a series of but I mean, those pipes carry what? Energy. They carry the energy as well. And I mean, each cell has its own energy source.
Yeah.
So when you can change, I still believe that it all comes back to our blood. If our blood is clean and our blood is flowing through our body at its potential, then we're going to feel 100% all the time. We're going to feel great. And if you're and if you do have bad thoughts, well, you all do. I mean, let's face it. We like you said, was it how many thoughts a day? 7,000?
70,000.
70,000. Yeah, well, 69,000. At least 69,000 of those are crap.
Yeah, that's what they say. 90% of them are the same as yesterday, and 80% of them are negative.
Yeah.
I think it's the other way around. 80% of the same, 90% of that. And if I said to you, well, what's half? What's 50,000 of your thoughts? 50,000 of your thoughts today, you wouldn't be able to tell me that many, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. If you can just turn around the way that you think, and that's that comes back to your fortitude and your belief in yourself as well. Belief in that there is a better opportunity, a better progression of the day. Because I mean, each day that you wake up, that's a good day. Huh? It was a great day.
I was talking with a group of friends when I was in New Zealand, and we were talking about a number of ailments that our parents and people are getting. And stupidly, I said, "Oh, it's a bit of a bugger getting old, isn't it?" And one of them looked at me and she went, "It's better than the alternative, isn't it?" And I was, because if you don't get old, you're not waking up.
Well, yeah, that's like the old HIV ads. Remember that? The old Grim Reaper? They'd bowl someone down and Grim Reaper would knock them all over. And yeah. So, yeah, you just, you've got to be a good pin and be sturdy.
But I just want to stress on that note about thinking, we can control or we can create positive thoughts as often as we can think of it. So, I say to people, if you feel a bit yuck, which happens a lot, right? You might feel a bit down, you might feel a bit fearful, you might feel a bit low. It'll be your thoughts. Look at what you're thinking about, but more so, replace them with something positive. Think about all the achievements that you have made, all the good things in your life. Give gratitude. Give gratitude for 10 things in your life that you love every single day. And it could be, you'll go, oh, I can't think of 10 things. Waking up in the morning, being able to see, having 2 legs that are functional, having 2 arms that we can use. They can all be things that we can give gratitude on or for. And as soon as you do that, it changes the frequency that you are operating at. You start to go, oh, I am grateful. I do feel good about that. And then more good comes. The frequency that we're putting out always attracts what we get back.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it mightn't come today, but I might probably rear its head in a year's time or something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
it's usually quicker than that. It's pretty much like magic when you get good at it.
Yeah, true. And responding in certain situations, yeah.
Absolutely. I love your choice of word.
Yeah,
Responding instead of reacting. Yeah.
yeah. I think there's a saying about that. I can't remember. Uh, yeah, it's not how you get. We all get bad news, but it's not.
Yes.
It's how
How
you
we deal with
respond
it.
to that. How you
Yes.
respond to that information that makes you who you are.
That's correct.
So if you're gonna this is the end of the earth.
Yeah.
This is gonna ruin my
Yeah.
life. Well, then it's
Well,
gonna
it's
ruin your
me.
life.
Yeah. Woe is me. Look what's happened to me. Blah, blah, blah. How am I going to recover? Or, oh, wow, I've got the opportunity for a new start. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was bad, but
oh, this will open up new opportunities. This will
yeah,
open up. This is a something
turning
that's
point.
going to help me to be a better person myself, because it all happens for a reason.
Yeah, to teach us things. And that's the thing. When I say to give people freedom, it's helping people to understand that it's always a choice. We always have a choice, like you say, of how we respond, what we do, who we interact with, who are our friends. We even have a choice about that. You know, Ed always talks about toxic relationships and toxic people. And you know, some people think, well, they don't even think about it. They just put up with it. But we have a choice. You know, you've got a toxic relationship with someone, or they bring you down. They're an energy sucker. They're an energy vampire. Then you've got a choice not to spend time with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, and yeah, that's very true. And like I was saying before, it's the dominoes effect. So if
Mm.
you get those bad thought, or you get a bad thought, and then it just turns into another bad thought,
Yeah.
and then becomes another bad thought, and then there's this whole culmination of bad thoughts that just keep rolling around in your head.
You feel
And
bad.
then,
So you have more
yeah,
bad
and then
thoughts.
yeah, that's right. And then you get frustrated and you get angry or depressed, you know, melancholy. I think is the old saying, melancholy.
Melancholy, yeah. And here's the thing, you could wake up in the morning feeling like that, feeling melancholy, feeling depressed, feeling sad, and go, oh, I feel so bad. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm just going to pull the covers over my head and stay in bed. And you know what that's doing is that's the action part. It's the action that you take that actually is the clincher for everything. It's the grounding energy. And so if you say, I'm going to stay in bed with covers over my head, your results will be the result of doing that, nothing, right? So it's also related to the action we take as a result of our feelings, emotions, and thoughts.
Yeah, that's right. And but that also you got to remember that we've been conditioned as well. And
Mm,
I understand there's a lot of people out there that they'll be thinking, "What? What are you talking about, Doctor Scott? You weirdo." But there, it is true. We're if you actually go back and get old dictionaries prior to the 1950s, because it all changed in the 1950s, our
mm-hmm.
education system. If you get dictionaries from the 1950s and you look up certain words, they've totally changed the
Yes,
definition.
yes.
And that's all because of the elites wanting us to think a certain way. And I think it was
Mm-hmm.
Henry Ford. Was it Henry Ford or it might have been
Well, if you
no,
think you can, or
it
if
was
you
before him. It was before him. Um, Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller. He said
think,
we don't need um, thinkers. We need workers.
yeah,
We don't need entrepreneurs. That's what he said. We don't need. I think Ford said it in a different way. I think he said we don't need entrepreneurs. We need uh, wasn't slave, but we need people to work in the factory basically.
mm, Yeah, you're
So
so
yeah,
right. You're so right. And they've basically managed to successfully indoctrinate people with the beliefs, you can call it brainwashing, that if you get a job, depending on your capabilities, if it's working in a factory, if that's all you can do, that's a good thing because you've got a job and you can get up and you can go to work and you can earn money, even if it's a pittance, and you can, try and feed your family or feed yourself or whatever. I was thinking about that the other day and I thought, it's just so, as you say, so deeply ingrained into people that that's what you do.
Robert Kiyosaki says it's just one day beyond broke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it is, yeah, and so
JOB.
that's it, totally. So that's what I want to change, and you can't.
Yeah.
Not everyone is willing to see a different perspective, like you said, Scott. And it's about perspective and realizing that there is a different perspective for all of us. Like you and I might see the same thing, but we'll have a different perspective of it. And there's always different perspectives. Nothing is truth. We have our own truth. Well, there are some universal truths, but on the whole, we have our own truth. And that my truth is different to your truth is different to his or hers. And so open your eyes, people. Start learning about different perspectives of uh, some of the beliefs that you've been given because they're not your own.
Yeah, well, that's I've got a few teachers that are patients, and they're even upset. They're even frustrated with the current education system because of that reason. Because of they find it difficult to have their own freedom to express the information that they're trying to get to the children, and now it has to be through the curriculum that way, or it's we don't want you to teach. That's the way that they view it. So yeah, it's not just my view, it's also the people that are actually delivering the message. They're even frustrated as well. What did you get out of James Hamilton? What did you get out? What sort of information did you get out of his books?
Oh, phenomenal! Because I went to a lot of his events. I did a whole year's mentoring with Roger Hamilton.
Roger, was it?
Yeah, called the Crystal Circle, and part of the mentoring for the year was to do a trip to Egypt and Italy, and we just had to fly into Cairo, and then everything was handled for us, paid for, and we went. And he's a business futurist, so all the time he's looking at a combination of Chinese history because he's part Chinese. He talks about energy a lot. He talks about the wealth dynamics profiling, which is a type of personality profile, except it's to do with your wealth profiling. But when we went on this trip, it was just bloody mind was for 38 or so other entrepreneurs, and we studied astrology. We studied all the old. We went to Rome and we looked at the markers there, but he connected it to like what's happening now. This was a long time ago. This was 2009 or 10. What was happening then and the future of business. And yeah, he's one of the most intelligent people I have ever come across. His mind is incredible, and he a lot of the time I can't keep up with him, to be honest.
That's fair
he's
enough.
so intelligent. He is so clever. But it was just again a different perspective, just to see things differently and to see that there is another whole world out there if we choose to learn about it. If we choose, one of the funny things was we were in Egypt, I think, and we were about to fly to Italy on a little plane, And there was this guy standing by the plane with us. We were all about to get on, and there was this really quite handsome-looking guy in a beautiful Italian suit standing with us together near where we were getting on the plane, because I think we were just out in the open, it wasn't like a proper airport or anything. And then he just brushed the jacket of his suit back, and I realised he had a gun, and he was our bodyguard. I didn't know that we had a bodyguard, because Roger being so, important and wealthy and what have you, and all of the rest of us were all entrepreneurs, and so we'd been assigned a bodyguard. I didn't even know. I hadn't noticed him before, but he'd obviously been following us around for ages. That blew me away too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's fair enough. All right, and so tell us about who you've helped over the last 12 months in their business or in their endeavors.
Oh God! So I have some clients who are coaches, so other coaches who work in slightly different modalities. I've helped. I won't mention any names, but
No.
I've helped people in business who work in the financial world, and many of the people actually I've worked with over the last 12 months have been people who have not heard of any of this stuff. So one client, has done all my programs, and she's another coach, and she continues to do one of my just low-level coaches that is on coaching my low-level office that's ongoing. However, some of the people, in this particular person in the financial world, had never heard any of this stuff. So it was really new to her to understand how we can change our results by our thinking. So it's interesting that you would think those people might be too hard to change, but they're not. It does depend, or to help them to become enlightened, but it does depend on their desire for change, their desire to move forward in some area of their life. So yeah, I have a variety of business people, business owners in all different sectors really. It's not one in particular.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And give us one more. Have you got any other testimonials you've got?
Yeah, there's someone I'm about to start working with, and that was with the financial person as well, was that, and this comes up a lot now, people have a fear of speaking, public speaking. And these days, everyone wants to either write a book or do public speaking. Because of the networking and things like that too, it's become quite an important part of having a business, is to be able to get up and speak to people, whether it's really small groups or big groups. So I have another lady in the health industry I'm about to start working with, and her issue is around the fear of speaking. It's always around fear, it's always around the fear of actually going for what they would like to do or what they think is going to help them. So people who have a fear of public speaking do benefit by doing some work with me.
That's awesome. And let me think. So I'll go to the third question, because you've done well. You've done really well.
I think it's about our sixth question, isn't it?
Well, usually the second question turns into about 10. But I was going to say, so tell us, who's your ideal client? Who's the person that you're looking for to help the most?
We were talking about that the other day in one of my master coaches sessions, because most people say, "Oh yeah," and I haven't done the work yet actually. Well, I have, but not recently again. Oh yeah, my ideal client is a female, and they're in their 50s, and they're blah blah blah, right? And they're like, no, that's not your ideal client. Your ideal client is the person who what values they have, or what do they enjoy doing, and what do they do for a hobby, and all those kind of things. How do they think? So my ideal client, I guess I can answer that, is someone who also, like you and I, Scott, want to serve and make a difference in the world. So want to do something for their clients as, as change something in humanity. So I would never work with someone who just had, say, for example, a retail store selling, tires.
Or dresses.
Oh, dresses. Yeah, and that's all they want to do, right? Is they want to increase their turnover. I would never work for someone like that. So my ideal client has to have a big why, a big purpose, wants to make a contribution in the world or in a part of society. So that's why I do work with coaches, people who know that when their client becomes a client of theirs, it's going to change their life. Age, to be honest, I probably wouldn't work with the new generation coming through, because I'm probably too old for them to see me as a mentor or as a person who's worthy of mentoring them, like what is it, Z or X or millennials I like to work with, and people then from then on, in age, but the age is not my criteria. Like I said, it's people who are coaches or doing something in the health industry, and they want more in one area of their life. It doesn't have to be in their business. It could be some other area. They want change, and they're coachable. They're willing to learn.
Yeah,
Those are my
that's good.
ideal clients.
That's very important.
Does that answer your question?
It's a two-way street, guys. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go on to the last question. So give us some ideas or information on how to provide lifelong longevity, please, Karen.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that, and I thought that's really your area of expertise, Dr. Scott. However, I will attempt. I believe it's in our health and our mental attitude. So our health, as far as looking after what we put in our bodies, is what is critical. So water, as you know, the right water or good water, not the shitty stuff that comes through the pipes in the house, and adequate hydration, and then adequate nutrition. I'm a big believer in giving. So this is what I believe, because I'm a master hypnotherapist as well, and I've been trained in NLP and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy. We're taught that the unconscious or subconscious mind holds the blueprint for our perfect health. It knows what we need for our perfect health, right? All you've got to do is give your body the tools for the mind to do that, and you will have perfect health. What most of us don't do is we don't give our bodies the tools, and we have so many toxins that are coming in that even though our unconscious mind has the blueprint, it can't carry it, it can't follow it. So it's about making sure that we detox, we eat things or drink things or take things that detox, because on the whole, it's almost impossible to completely stop the toxicity that's coming into us. We are eating food or sourcing food that isn't devoid of vitamins and minerals like most of the food we buy at the supermarkets is. Or we take supplements that are going to help provide the vitamins and minerals and the things that our food is devoid of. So, and then, having a joyful, happy, fun life. That's huge. Having fun, enjoying your life is huge. If you don't do that, you are probably not going to have longevity.
Yep. Totally agree. Totally agree. So thanks very much, Karen, for coming on the Get Busy Living podcast. There's some real gold nuggets that you produced today, so much appreciated. Thank you so much for that. And if you've got any questions you have for Karen, we'll get you to put your details, if you could please, Karen, on the platform, and so people could contact you and find out more about what you do for them, and also for the community as well.
Sure, my pleasure.
So
How do I do that? How do I do that?
I'll get my virtual assistant. She'll give you.
Okay. Well, email me or something.
Email or LinkedIn. We'll probably do both.
LinkedIn's better for me. I'm not an email fan. I lose emails all the time. I get so many.
It gives you what do you call it? Notifications too. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll get. I'll get her to give you the links so you can put your details up there. So. It's been lovely talking to you again, Karen. Much appreciated for your time, and appreciate you. Thank you.
And Dr. Scott, thank you for inviting me. It's been my pleasure. And I look forward to hearing from anyone who has any questions for me. Feel free to reach out to me, even if you just want to ask a question or have a quick chat. And I look forward to maybe next time in another year.
That's it. Thanks again, Karen. All right, guys. You have a great day. I'm Dr. Scott from 6 Sense Acupuncture and the Healthy Habits Club. And you've been watching the Get Busy Living podcast with the wonderful Karen Clark. Have a great